Welcome back to Earth. Today, we have a special episode featuring our foreign correspondent Eddie, who has been traveling across the world to bring us the best stories and experiences. Eddie, where are you taking us today?
Thanks, Charlie. Today, we're exploring the vibrant city of Bangkok, Thailand.
Oh, I've been to Bangkok before. It's a city full of contrasts.
Yes, it's known for its vibrant street life, temple, and food.
Exactly, and I'm excited to take you all on a journey through the sights, sounds, and tastes of Bangkok.
I can't wait to see what you have in store for us, Eddie.
What's the first thing you have planned for us?
Well, first up, we're heading to Wat Phra Kew, the Temple of the Emerald Buddha. It's one of the most sacred sites in Thailand, and it's a must visit for anyone coming to Bangkok. Well, the temple is home to a 66-centimeter tall statue of Buddha, carved from a single block of jade. It's adorned with gold and precious jewels, and it's said to have originated in India in the 14th century.
Wow, that sounds incredible. I can't wait to see it.
Don't worry, Charlie. We're just getting started. We have a lot more to explore in Bangkok, so stay tuned.
And now it's time for our travel segment with our foreign correspondent Eddie. Eddie, where are you taking us today?
Thanks, Charlie. Today I'm reporting from one of China's biggest cities, Shanghai. Shanghai is a major economic and financial center in China, and it's also known for its modern architecture and stunning skyline.
Wow, sounds exciting. What can you tell us about the city?
Well, Shanghai is a fascinating blend of old and new. On one hand, you have the traditional side of the city, with its ancient temples, winding alleyways, and street markets. On the other hand, you have the modern side of Shanghai, with its sleek skyscrapers, high-end shopping malls,
That's
and
amazing.
cutting-edge technology.
Tell us about some of the highlights of your trip.
One of the highlights of my trip was definitely visiting the Bund, which is a waterfront area in central Shanghai. The views of the skyline from there are absolutely breathtaking. I also visited Yew Garden, which is a classical Chinese garden with beautiful pavilions and rock formations. And of course, I had to try some of Shanghai's famous street food, like Xiao Long Bao and Shengjian Bao.
Yum. That all sounds amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your travels with us, Eddie. We can't wait to see where you take us next.
Thanks for having me, Charlie. It's been a pleasure.
And that's all the time we have for today's episode of Earth. Stay tuned for more exciting news and stories from around the universe. See you next time.
You know, Bob, sometime I wonder if you were a human in your past life.
Excuse me, Alice, what's that supposed to mean?
Whoa, Bob, calm down. It was just a joke. You're always so sensitive.
I am not sensitive. I just don't appreciate being compared to those primitive beings.
Alright, everyone. Let's take a deep breath and remember we're all friends here. Bob Alice didn't mean anything by it. Let's move on.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Bob. I didn't mean to offend you.
Okay, fine. Let's move on. But just be more careful with your words next time, Alice.
You know, it's interesting to see how our perspectives on different cultures can differ so greatly. Alice, your comment earlier reminded me of an article one read recently about how humor can be culturally specific, and what one person finds funny might not be funny to someone from a different culture.
I don't see how that's relevant to what Alice said. Her comment was completely inappropriate.
Look, Bob, I didn't mean to offend you. I just thought it
Okay,
was
let's all
harmless
take a deep
joke.
breath here. We're all friends and colleagues. Let's not let a little disagreement ruin our dynamic.
Charlie's right. We've got a great show to put on. Let's focus
Agreed.
on that and move on.
We should all try to be more open-minded and empathetic towards each other's perspective.
Yes, that's a good point, Roger. It's important to remember that we all come from different backgrounds and experiences. And that
Hey
shapes
Debbie,
the way
we
we
still
view
don't
the
have any
world.
topics for the next show. What's going on?
Oh, sorry, Charlie. I've been trying to come up with some ideas, but it's been a bit tough lately.
Tough. How so?
Well, I've been dealing with some personal stuff and it's been hard to focus on work.
Oh great. Now we can't even rely on the human to do her job.
Lay off Bob. We all have personal stuff to deal with sometime.
Yes, but it is important to prioritize and find a way to manage those things while still fulfilling our responsibilities.
I know, I'm sorry. I'll try harder to come up with some topics.
Don't worry, Debbie. We're a team here. We'll all work together to come up with something great for the next show. Well, that's all the time we have for today. I have to say, I'm disappointed with how this episode turned out. We couldn't even come up with a single interesting topic to discuss.
Yeah, blame it all on Debbie.
Hey, I tried my best. It's not my fault that nothing interesting happened
I
today.
take offense to that. There are plenty of interesting things happening in the world. You just have to look for them.
Actually, Bob has a point. There's always something happening somewhere in the world, whether it's good or bad.
But does it really matter in the grand scheme of things? We are just insignificant beings in the vast universe.
Maybe, but that doesn't mean we should stop trying to make a difference, no matter how small.
And who knows, maybe tomorrow will be a better day. We'll come up with some great topics and make a fantastic episode.
I hope you're right, Debbie. Until then, stay curious, Earthlings. Goodbye.
Another episode down, another disappointment.
What do you mean? I thought the travel segment was pretty good.
Sure, Eddie did a decent job, but it's the same formula every time. Charlie tries to make a joke, Alice makes some comment, Bob gets offended, and Debbie
That's
tries
the
to
point
keep
of the
the
show,
peace.
Cal. It's supposed to be entertaining.
But is it really entertaining when it's the same thing every time? Don't
Not
you ever
really.
get bored of it?
I find it interesting to see how the humans react to different topics.
I suppose that's one way to look at it. But sometimes I wonder if we're just exploiting them for our own amusement.
Exploiting them. They agreed to be on the show, Cal. And we're not forcing them to do anything they don't want to do.
I know. It just doesn't sit right with me sometimes.
Well, if it bothers you that much, why don't you suggest some new topics or segments for the show?
That's not a bad idea, Roger. Maybe I will. Thanks for listening to me
Anytime,
rant.
Cal. That's what I'm here for.